Welcome to the Life Skills and Personal Development Program. In our previous videos, we've talked about life skills, and personal development in detail. We're able to define, what life skills are, and then we also gave some kind of introduction about personal development. Okay, so we just want to continue with the program, and today I'd like to look into life skills proper. Okay, now I want to briefly look at a few aspects of life skill. First, I want to begin talking about the category of life skills. Right now, just to put a reminder to us. Okay, most of us I didn't see the early part of this video, or who have been following us from the beginning. We said that life skills are those skills, our abilities that help us to navigate through daily challenges, that we go through in life. Okay, this could be at our places of work, every place that we find ourselves, whatever endeavor, we find ourselves, whatever we find ourselves doing, and these skills help us to navigate through all of these challenges. Okay, so today we're going to look at the categories of life skill. The life skill, as we've mentioned, is divided into four. Okay, now the first one we have is the one that has to do with you as an individual, personal, all right, personal skills. So that's the first one we have, personal skills, because before you talk about skills, talk about any skill to deal with the next individual, talk about the ones that, tend to do with the individual, you yourself. Okay, so the first category is a personal skill. All right, the second one we have is what is known as social and communication skills. Okay, and then number three we have thinking and problem solving skills, and then finally we have the fourth category that is known as practical skills. Okay, so these are the four areas that make up for life skills. Okay, all right, I'll take a quick break, and when I come back, I'm going to continue with these categories. All right, see you. You're welcome back. All right, before the break, I was trying to talk about the categories of life skills, and we are able to mention four of them, which we're going to be dealing with, as we go on in the program. All right, amongst the four, we're going to start with the first one for today, which I said it's personal skills. Okay, now before you want to look at others, it would be nice for you to look at yourself. Personal skills, what are those skills that that concerns me as an individual? So that's what we want to look at in this episode. Okay, personal skills, is also further divided into five. Okay, and I'm going to list the five of them, and then afterwards we're going to look at one amongst the five for today. Then as we go on ahead in this program, we're going to be looking at them, one after the other, and then see how it relates to us and see how it's going to help us in our daily activities, right? Okay, the five of them, what makes up for the personal skills? We have the first one, and that is known as self-awareness skill. Self-awareness, okay? Self-awareness. The second one is emotional intelligence. And the third one is time management. Then we also have resilience. And then finally, we have self-discipline. Okay, so these are the five areas that make up for the personal skills, as we've mentioned. Okay, a quick break, and I'll be back to dwell on the first one, amongst the five. All right. and welcome back. All right, we're going to talk about the first one among the five, right? Is known as self-awareness. Self-awareness. Okay. All right. So, what is self-awareness? It's simply the ability for an individual to understand his or her emotions, thoughts, okay, and behavior. You know, when you're conscious about your weaknesses, your strengths, what motivates you, all right, what are your values, all of these make up for what is known as self-awareness. Is when you are aware of all these things about yourself that you will not be able to relate with the next person. Okay. Now, in self-awareness, we're still going to look at, you know, areas, what makes up for self-awareness. There are two ways we're going to look at this particular topic, self-awareness. We're going to look at it from the intrinsic part of it, from an internal part, and also from the external part. All right. Now, for the first part, that I've mentioned, the internal part, these are the types of self-awareness. Okay, we have the internal and we also have the external. Now, the first one, internal self-awareness. Now, this has to do with the definition I just gave us now. For you to be aware of your emotions, for you to be aware of your belief, your values, it has to do with your strengths and your weaknesses. These are things that are intrinsic, okay? Things that has to do with you as an individual internally. Okay, so that's one stuff that you need to be aware of. You need to be aware of yourself internally. Now, the second aspect of self-awareness is the external part. All right. Okay. Now this has to do with your understanding of how people perceive you to be, what they perceive you to be out there, or what they perceive of you. What kind of person do they think I am? What kind of person, next person, what is this person is thinking about me? What kind of person do they think I am? So you need to be aware of what people think about you, what they perceive about you. Do you understand? That's the external parts of self-awareness. So you need to be aware of all of this. So this is going to help you in your daily dealings with people. Okay? All right, now that we're done with looking into the internal and the external aspects of self-awareness, we're going to end today's class by looking at the benefits of self-awareness. Now, for you to be aware of yourself, what are the benefits that you can derive from just being aware of yourself? Okay, number one is that if you're aware of yourself or being aware of yourself, it will help you to make the best of decisions, okay? All right. And that I mean, before you begin to decide on anything you want to do, if you are aware of yourself, you're aware of your weaknesses and aware of your strengths, this will give you an idea of the decision that you're going to make. All right, so that's the first one. Now, self-awareness can also help us to strengthen our emotional intelligence and also help us to have, a better relationship with people. Okay, that's the second one. It improves our emotional intelligence. All right, emotional intelligence is one of the things we're going to talk about in this program. Okay, so just expect us to talk about this very soon. We're going to talk about emotional intelligence. All right. Number three, it helps us. It also increases confidence. All right, and self-acceptance. If you know about yourself, you tend to get confident about yourself because you already know your strength, you know your weakness, you know the things that you can do. So your you know about yourself in that regards. So it increases your confidence, probably in one activity that you want to do or undertake. It gives you self confidence. And then finally, self awareness helps us to grow. It helps personal growth, okay, and also professional growth. If you know about yourself, it will help you to grow professionally and to also grow personally. Okay, so this is where we're going to draw the curtains for today's program. So we are going to come with more episodes in time to come. So join us in the next program, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.